In the misty northern lands of Scotland, Glamis Castle rises from the earth like a memory carved in stone, its ancient towers crowned with ivy, and its halls echoing with secrets and sorrow. Visitors from across the world come for its storied beauty, but locals know the deeper truth. For centuries, its walls have trapped the restless dead, none more tragic or vengeful than the Grey Lady. Long ago, Lady Janet Douglas was beloved for her kindness and wit. But political strife birthed paranoia and accusations. Enemies whispered that she was a witch. One violent winter, soldiers dragged her from her chambers, binding her wrists, and cast her into the freezing dungeons below. There, surrounded by dripping stone and gnawing darkness, Lady Janet suffered years of cold, hunger, and despair. At last, on a morning shrouded in fog, they brought her to the castle's courtyard, tethered her before a towering stone wall, and condemned her to burn. Flames snaked around her dress as the crowd averted their eyes, but Janet lifted hers to a narrow chapel window and swore her spirit would never rest while her name was stained by lies. After her death, servants and lords alike spoke in hushed tones of weeping heard at night, of soft grey light moving where shadows should be. Some claimed Lady Janet still lingered, pacing the halls in her favourite silvery gown, face pale and mournful, eyes hollow from endless grief. More than a century later, her legend terrified a modern generation. On a bleak October night, 3 friends, Marie, James, and Luke, arrived at Glamis Castle for a rare overnight tour. All were drawn by the promise of the supernatural. The castle caretaker, a grizzled man named Ewan, greeted them at the gate. "Keep out of the chapel after midnight," he warned, as he led them through corridors lined with ancestral portraits, "unless you wish to meet the one who can never leave." By midnight, the castle's other visitors had retreated to their rooms. Only moonlight pressed against the cold glass as Marie, James, and Luke crept toward the forbidden chapel, adrenaline warring with dread. The air inside was dense with incense and cobwebs. Old wooden pews hunched beneath crumbling icons. An altar flickered in the shadows. With only a battered lantern for light, they heard the slow creak of floorboards behind them. At first, they dismissed it as the wind. But as the minutes passed, a chill spread through the room, leaving icy kisses on their spines. Marie froze. In the dancing lamplight, wisps of grey mist drifted above the altar. Suddenly, a low sobbing echoed off the stones. Luke stood stone still, heart pounding, as a cold pressure settled on his shoulder. When he glanced nervously right, he saw beside a cracked icon the outline of a woman in grey standing utterly silent. Where her face should be, there was only a blank, bloodlessly pale mask. James defiant, began whispering a prayer. At that, the atmosphere thickened. Their lantern sputtered, light shrinking as if devoured by the darkness itself. From the back of the chapel, the grey lady glided forward, her silver-pale dress billowing like mist, eyes ringed with endless night, streaks of tears shining blood-red in the lantern's glow. Trust nothing here. In Glamis, every lie is punished, an ethereal voice murmured. Panic seized them, and they scrambled for the chapel door, but it would not budge. The pews groaned, the shadows stretched outward, and the chill deepened until they could see frost coiling along the altar's edge. The grey lady's face grew clearer, beautiful once, now twisted by sorrow. She knelt before them, her hands fluttering over the stone floor. Wherever her fingers touched, water pooled, tinged pink as if mixed with ancient blood. Luke's nerve broke. He hammered the chapel window, but unseen hands clawed at his arms, cold and slick, leaving long scratches carved into his flesh. Above them, the stained glass window flashed with ghostly light, and the icons bled tears. James shouted, "We're sorry! We believe you!" The grey lady regarded him with empty eyes, then reached out a transparent hand. All three felt a freezing pain slice through their hearts, a weight of centuries of grief and injustice. In a whirling instant, the hallucinations faded. They collapsed, shivering, breathless, before the altar. When Ewan unlocked the chapel at dawn, he found them pale and trembling, fresh welts running down their arms. The old caretaker guided them outside. On the floor where the ghost had knelt, small puddles remained, water, faintly pink, slowly seeping away. As the sun crested the ancient castle walls, the portraits in the corridor seemed to watch the shaken visitors leave. Some said the likeness of Lady Janet Douglas in her portrait now bore the faintest trace of red across one cheek. To this day, Glamis Castle is shunned by those who know its true heart. If you enter the chapel at midnight, beware the tearful whisper drifting from the shadows. The grey lady still roams, searching for those who would bear witness to her sorrow and carry her legend deeper into the living world. And through every cold Scottish night, her grief lingers, a stain on memory, a shadow on stone.